Maybe we started already.
There we go.
Back when you... Adolin drew his lips to a line. I don't have any answers right now, he eventually said. I don't know if I ever did. But we should ransack this place quickly. Father might want more proof than your word. And it would be awfully helpful if we could present him with incriminating journals or letters.
I don't know why I dropped
Shalon
them.
nodded, waving over Gaz and Ren. She would have them search the place. And what of what Ile had said? Look for the rarest vintage. Shalon eyed the wines set out on the counter porch. We speak in riddles. Adolin and the others were coming in, Shalon thought. She didn't want them to understand. Storms. The woman had grown paranoid. But why trust Shalon? I won't get to answer. They won't let me. Adolin, she said. Something is wrong with this. With Ile. With me being here. With... She cut herself off as shouts sounded in the antechamber. Shalon scrambled out, feeling a sense of dread. She found Ile Sadius lying on the floor, foam coming from the mouth of her fake face. The soldiers watched with horror. The High Princess stared up with lifeless eyes. Dead.
Kaladin flew through the smoke billowing up over the manor. He soared down toward where the townspeople were being threatened by the strange fused and his soldiers. That was Waper, the manor's
That's
guard,
enough.
being held against the ground with a boot to his face.
This is obviously a trap,
Syl said in Kaladin's mind.
That fused knows exactly what to do in order to draw the attention of a Windrunner. Attack innocents.
She was right. Kaladin forced himself to walk carefully a short distance away. The fused had torn a hole in the wall around a side entrance of the manor. Though flames licked the upper floors of the structure, the room beyond the hole was dark, not yet afire. At least, not completely. As soon as Kaladin landed, the singers released Waver and the others, bringing Peter through the broken hole in the stone wall. 5 soldiers, Kaladin noted. 3 with swords, 2 with spears. The fused carried one captive as he strode into the building. Then, with a gaunt face, the captive was bleeding from a slash along his stomach. Odeki the Edge Dancer. His stormlight had apparently run out. Storms said he was still alive. The fused wanted to use him as bait, so the chances seemed good. Kaladin strode toward the broken wall. You want to fight me, fused? Come on, let's have at it. The creature, shadowed inside the building, growled something in his own rhythmic language. One of the soldiers translated. I will fight you inside where you cannot fly away, little Windrunner. Come, face me.
I don't like this.
Syl said. Agreed, Kaladin whispered. Be ready to go get help. He lashed himself upwards slightly, enough to make him lighter on his feet, then inched into the burning building. This large room had once been the dining chamber where Kaladin's father had eaten with Shalon and talked of thieves and compromises. The ceiling was burned in patches, the fire consuming it from above. Flame spread danced along the wood with a frantic delight. The hulking fused stood directly ahead, 2 soldiers at each side. They moved forward to flank Kaladin. Where was the 5th soldier? Near an overturned table, fiddling with something that glowed a deep violet black. Void light? Wait, was it a fabric? The light dimmed suddenly. Kaladin's powers vanished. He felt it as a strange smothering sensation, as if something heavy had been placed on top of his mind. His full weight came upon him again, his lashing cancelled. Syl gasped, and her spear puffed away as she became a spread. And when Kaladin tried to resummon his blade, nothing happened. Immediately, Kaladin stepped backward to try to escape the range of the strange fabrial. But the soldiers quickly rushed to surround him, cutting off his retreat. Kaladin's assumption that he could beat them easily had relied on his shard spear and his powers. Storms. Kaladin strained to create a lashing. Stormlight still raged inside him and kept him from needing to breathe the acrid smoke, but something was suppressing his other abilities. The fused laughed and spoke in Alethi.
Radiance, you rely too much on your powers. Without them, what are you? peasant child with no real training in the art of warfare, or
Kaladin slammed himself against the soldier to his right. The sudden motion caused the singer to cry out and fall backward. Kaladin yanked the spear from the man's hand, then, in a fluid motion, whipped it into a two-handed lunge, impaling the second soldier. The two soldiers on his left recovered and leaped for him. Kaladin let the wind encircle him as he spun between the two of them, catching one sword, aimed low, with the butt of his spear as he caught the second one, aimed high, right behind the spear's head. Metal met wood with a familiar thunk, and Kaladin finished his spin, throwing off both weapons. He gutted one man, then tripped him, sending him stumbling to the ground in front of his ally. These soldiers were trained well, but hadn't seen much actual combat yet, as evidenced by how the remaining singer froze when he saw his friends dying. Kaladin kept moving, almost without thought, spearing the fourth soldier in the neck. There, Kaladin thought, as the expected ribbon of red light came darting toward him. Go from him. Kaladin dropped his spear, pulling a throwing knife off his belt and turned. He rammed the knife into the air right before the fused appeared, slamming the small blade into the creature's neck, angled between two pieces of carapace. The fuse let out an urge of shock and pain, his eyes wide. Fire made wood snap overhead and burning cinders dropped down as the enormous fuse toppled forward like a felled tree, the floorboards shaking with the impact. Blessedly, no red ribbon of light rose from him this time.
That's a relief,
Syl said, landing on Kaladin's shoulder.
I guess if you catch him before he teleports, you really can kill him.
At least until the Everstone rebirths him, Kaladin said, checking the singers he'd killed. Other than the one dying slowly from the gut wound, he'd left only two alive. The one he'd shoved, and the fifth one, across the room, who had activated the fabrial. The former had scrambled out the gaping hole in the wall to escape. The latter had left the fabrial and was inching to the side, his
Really?
eyes wide. The man was trying to reach Godeki, perhaps to use him as a hostage. In the fray, the wounded edge dancer had fallen to the ground beside the husk after the fuse had teleported him. Godeki was now moving, but not under his own power. A small, gangly figure had the edge dancer by one leg and was slowly dragging him away from the fight. Kaladin hadn't seen Lift sneak into the room, but then again, she often showed up where one did not expect her. Take him out the hole, Lift, Kaladin said, stepping toward the last singer. Are your powers suppressed too?
Yeah,
She said.
what'd they do to us? I'm extremely curious about this too.
Syl said, zipping over to the device on the floor, a gemstone covered in metal pieces and resting on tripod legs.
That is a very strange fabric.
Kaladin pointed his spear at the last singer who, hesitantly, dropped his sword and raised his hands. He had a jagged skin pattern of red and black. What is that fabrial? Kaladin asked. The soldier swallowed.
I don't know. I was told to twist the gemstone at the base to activate it.
That's void light powering it.
Doesn't burn me, bro.
I've never seen anything like it.
Kaladin noticed the smoke pooling on the ceiling.
Lift?
He said.
On it.
She said, scrambling over to the device while Kaladin kept the soldier guarded. A moment later, Kaladin's powers returned. He sighed in relief, but a strong light popped before him. Nearby, Godeki gasped, unconsciously breathing in stormlight, and his wound started to heal. Strengthened by the light, Kaladin grabbed the soldier and lifted him up, infusing him enough to make him hang in the air.
That's toxic.
I told you to leave the city, Kaladin growled softly. I'm memorizing your face, your pattern, your stench. If I see you again, ever, I will send you hurtling upward with so much stormlight that you will have a long, long time to think during the fall back down. Understood? The singer nodded, humming a conciliatory something. Kaladin shoved him, recovering his stormlight and making the man fall to the ground. He scrambled away out the hole.
There was another human in here,
Lift said.
an old white-eyed man in beggar's clothing. I was watching him from outside the building and saw the man come in here with Godeki. A short time later, that fuse broke through the wall carrying Godeki. But I didn't spot the other man.
The former city lord had told Dalinar he was going to search the manor's storm cellar.
Yeah, it could be
for
worse.
imprisoned townspeople. Though he wasn't proud of it, Kaladin hesitated. Syl looked at him. He gritted his teeth and nodded. So long as it is right, he thought.
Make sure Godecki recovers, and get that fab wheel to Brightness Navani. She's going to find it very interesting.
Shallan removed the illusion, revealing Iele's face, spittle dripping from her lips. One of Adolin's men checked her pulse, confirming it. She was dead. Damnation, Adolin said, standing helpless above the body. What happened? We didn't do this, Vale thought. We decided not to kill her. Shallan's mind began to fuzz. Everything feeling blurry. Had she done this? She'd wanted to, but she hadn't. Had she? She was more in control than that. I didn't do it, Shallan thought. She was reasonably certain. So what happened? Radiant asked. She must have taken poison, said Vale, leaning down. Black Bane. Even after many months as Shallan's squire and then agent, the former deserter didn't look like he belonged with Adolin's soldiers. Latha was too rough. Not sloppy, but unlike Adolin's men, he didn't care much for the spit and polish. He showed his disdain by leaving his jacket undone, his hair messy. I've seen someone die like that before, Brightness, he explained. Back in Sadius's army, an officer was smuggling and selling supplies. When he finally got found out, he poisoned himself rather than be taken. I didn't see her do it, Ishna said, sheepish. I'm sorry. Nails nuts, muttered one of Adolin's soldiers. This is going to look bad, isn't it? This is exactly what the Black Throne didn't want. Another Sadius corpse on her hands. Adolin drew in a long, deep breath. We have enough evidence to have seen her hanged. My father will simply have to accept that. We'll bring troops to the war camps to make certain her soldiers don't get rowdy. Storms. This mess should have been cleaned up months ago. He pointed at several soldiers. Check the other conspirators.
There we go,
poison
nice.
Shallan will disguise the body like a rug or something so we can get it out. Gen and Nathan search Iele's things and